Do you want more diverse texts in classrooms or to limit police presence on campus? Your vote chooses the people who make those decisions. So let's take local elections seriously and understand the powers local leaders hold if they're elected. In this video, we're looking at who calls the shots when it comes to education. We're looking at you, school board members. A 2018 survey by the National School Boards Association shows 79% of school board members nationwide are white. Men make up 52% of U.S. school boards, and 60% of school board members are retired. Meet Devin Del Palacio, a school board member in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hi, I'm Devin, and I've been a school board member for 6 years.
Let's get right to it. Do school board members control whether or not police or ICE can come on campus?
Yes, school board members can decide whether or not to ban ICE from their campuses. They can also ensure that their contract or MOU states that they have to have permission first before stepping foot on our campus.
So is this the same for police officers?
Absolutely, it's definitely the same for police and or SROs.
And in regards to discrimination, how do school board members prevent that from happening in school?
So board members can do that by passing resolutions and or policies. So for example, you could pass a resolution to ban anti-hate speech. You can also introduce a policy to expand your non-discrimination protections.
Can a school board fire any teacher or school staff member that makes racist remarks?
No, but the superintendent can.
Can you require implicit bias training for teachers?
Absolutely. We can definitely implement implicit bias training for our educators. And we can ensure that they also participate in culturally appropriate trainings to ensure that they best serve their students. A lot of our teachers aren't from our community, and so it's important that they get this training so that way they can better serve our students. And you heard of the old saying, show me your budget and I'll tell you what your priorities are. So you can actually ensure that there's a budget for this type of professional development training for our educators.
Speaking of budget, how much control do you have over that?
We approve, we pass, and as a superintendent, they're the ones who ensure that our goals in that budget are implemented.
And how big can these school budgets get?
Some of these budgets range from several million to 100 million to even in some states in the billions of dollars.
During the 2015-2016 school year, elementary and secondary public school funds in the U.S. totaled $706 billion, with 47% of it coming from state sources and 45% from local sources. Can a school board protect students' free speech, say for protesting or kneeling during the Pledge of Allegiance?
So just because you're a student, your rights don't stop at the school gates. So their right to free speech and to even kneel during a pledge is definitely protected. School board members can definitely be a direct support to ensure that students understand and know that their rights are protected.
What about curriculum? What power do school board members have when it comes to ensuring that students are learning from diverse texts?
So school board members definitely have an influence and the power to ensure our students are exposed to culturally relevant curriculum. As a school board member, we can introduce a policy to mandate ethnic studies be required in order to graduate high school, for example. And so as a school member, we definitely have a say-so in terms of what our kids are learning.
With the pandemic, we're seeing a lot of debates about whether or not schools should reopen. Is that a decision that's up to the board?
Yes, thanks to local control, school board members are the ones that decide whether or not to close or open schools. However, that could come at a financial cost depending on your state governor.
Let's talk about sex ed. States differ nationwide on how sexual education is taught, if it's taught at all. So how much say do board members have in this conversation?
Remember, you set the tone for your district, and so you can definitely introduce resolutions and or policies to ensure that your district is working with your state statute to ensure that your students have access to comprehensive sex education. Again, it varies by state what the state statute is, but as a school board member, you definitely have an influence in terms of what your students are taught.
Well, we've covered just a handful of important topics in the school system, and it's clear that school board members have many other decisions that are vital in education. But when you look at the U.S., the median age of school board members is 59. So what is your advice for young voters when it comes to voting for their school board members?
You need to remember that these school board members that you select are literally shaping the minds of our society. So make sure that they're engaged, make sure they're active, make sure there's someone who's actually going to do the work and not just sit there and show up and vote and rubber stamp everything.